While there are a host of things wrong with the PC porting of Spider-Man 2, it doesn't stand to reason that a lot of the major concerns are not being shown up front. We want to talk about a vocal minority of people who truly are ruining gaming and what a danger they bring about themselves, and how they are basically continuing this cycle of panic that is the over policing of video games in our current situation. Let's get into it. Clap it. Hey, 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 hey. Yeah. Yeah, what's up? How you doing? My name is Hero. This is Coding with Strangers, and I want to talk about something. It's always a mystery to me when we as people choose to complain about things that don't matter. When we choose to complain about things that have no semblance on our real life situation. But here we are complaining about something. But when given the opportunity to complain about something that should matter to us, like having a proper product that works on initial day one, having a fully optimized project, talk about paying money for something to work as intended and it doesn't. These are things we should truly care about in gaming. But instead we choose to waste our time worrying about things that don't really matter. So in an effort to talk about things that matter, let's cover the main issue with the new Spider-Man 2 PC launch. The woes are woeier than you think, and it looks like the GPU-powered DirectStorage is hobbling performance. The newly released PC port, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, hasn't enjoyed the smoothest of launches thanks to bugs and performance problems, and now it seems one aspect of the conversation that's making things worse is the use of direct storage, which systems sucking up all important GPU resources. So it's bypassing like the assorted GPU on your system and going for direct storage. Eesh. Tragic. A direct storage within the system sucking up all the Spider-Man 2 was ported by Nixxes Software, which is a pretty stellar track record for converting Sony bestsellers. Well, up until now, that the Dutch software company portfolio Eerie ports is second to none. Marvel Spider-Man, so they ported the first one. They supported Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, and those are all Insomniac games up until Ratchet and Clank. Rift Apart, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, and Horizon Forbidden West. Wow. Okay. The whole entire reboot trilogy of Tomb Raider? Yeah, they actually do know their chops. So what's going wrong with the Spider-Man 2? According to Tech Channel, Compusible on X, what a weird name, the issue seems to be using direct storage. This is a Microsoft API that's used to reduce CPU overhead when transferring thousands of compressed files from SSD to graphics card VRAM. So basically, okay, and it handles each file serially and directed. Okay, so it's taking things one by one instead of in a batch. And it's probably like usually whenever you're porting over something of this size and magnitude, you want to batch them over in certain file sizes. But in this case, the method that they're using is going serialized, which that's nowhere near as fast as it needs to be in order to do it. But it can do it over a little bit of a time. So when you know you have time to do this stuff, it's easier to do. This is the best way to do it, but not for running the system. That's a horrible idea. I can't believe I somewhat understood that. Look at all that. Nixxes has plenty of experience with direct storage as it's used this before in other Sony ports. However, the computational point out the important difference. Spider-Man 2 is using a GPU decompression option in direct storage, something that most of the other port games don't enable. The exception being Ratchet and Clank in the high graphics settings. Yeah, Ratchet and Clank don't need the graphical settings here, but Spider-Man for sure. This game in particular, with all the crazy things that this game is asking your system to do. Interesting. Now you might be thinking this is an easy fix. All Nixxes has to do is release a patch that just disables the GPU decompression, right? Is this possible at all? It may take, but it equally disabling the GD deflating might cause significant problems on the gaming PCs, with weaker CPUs, or they might even section off the game that are already very demanding on the CPU. Handing the decompression back over to the central processing might just run those parts even worse. Damn. That's actually crazy. The PlayStation 5 doesn't suffer from this issue because it has its dedicated hardware for handling asset transfers. Yeah, it's decompression. Whereas the humble gaming PC doesn't. Developers have to make do with the CPU and GPU, but given how capable such chips are these days, surely it shouldn't be that bad. Damn, that's crazy. So even if they turn it off, there's potential. If you're rocking the bare essentials, and by all the stretch of matter, a 2080 with a 7 series AMD chip, even 5 series AMD chip. Let's talk 2018. You should be fine. You won't be doing this in 4K. You won't be doing this in 60 frames, but you should be good. Perhaps more important question to ask is whether the sign of Nixxes Software being stretched too much to porting projects, as it's done 7 such tasks in a little over 2 years. Damn. Yeah. Spider-Man 2 only appeared to be on PlayStation 5 October 2023. So yeah, they might be getting stretched a little bit thin, but all in all, this is one issue that they have. Well, this is the polite issue that they have. Major issue. But there's another issue brewing, and I remember there was a time where the Spider-Man game was being harassed. People were harassing the voice actors, harassing the models, because gamers couldn't fap to Mary Jane, right? That was a problem. That was a thing. And I was very concerned to see what part of the internet would show up to continue that train of degeneracy. And believe it or not, there are people that kept up with it. So on Saturday, 6 p.m., this is a modding website, they updated Mary Jane's facial features for this game. And they don't have a side-by-side. I can tell you just from aesthetics of looking at it, all they've really done with this mod is make her nose smaller, or thinner rather, made her eyes bigger, added filler to her lip, and slimmed down her jaw. But they haven't done anything impressive that the artists from the original game haven't been able to accomplish. And while this right here gives the uncanny effect, because they're not really good at this type of stuff. They're not really good. These modders aren't very good at making real assets. They only attest for the things that they want to attest. And also, to a certain degree, there's a level of degeneracy where it's like, you don't know what a real woman looks like, quit playing. But it's just, to me, I think I'm more reassured that there's fewer people in this chat who really care about this. And I believe, this is the original version where it's just like, I don't see the dramatic difference. Like, this is what they're envisioning in their head. Still a long way from this. Yeah, so the levels of degeneracy that I was expecting, the list is rather short, less than 30 comments, right? And when you look at the board for all of the games, you see that that's 93 upvotes, while the rest don't really have anything going into it. That's probably the most ported ones. They have the flying symbiotes. They have other things like that. This one had 4.9K. I don't know what this Overstrike one is. They have the flying one, 1,000, 1,000. They have 100% save file, so people who want to just cheese the game, 4.4. Better graphics all around. You get to play as a Superman. Like, once again, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with the modding scene, and I'm happy to say that, it's not this belligerent sexualization, because when it becomes that sexualization, right? When it becomes that sexualization, weird things start to happen. Because we got to remember, this is a children's game. Whether you like it or not, this is a children's game. And children will see this, children will play this game. So we got to be extremely careful about how we publicize this, how we put this out there. Because there's also a corner of this world who hate when politics and things get involved with games. But when people are putting mods like this on the open internet for kids to see, for a children's game, well, then you give validity to those people, those bitchy old ass boomers, and we don't want to do that, right? So the question is, can you keep it in your pants for the sake of games? Because you said you want to keep games interesting, you want to keep games good. Is this worth losing an entire industry because of your horniness, right? Another just weird thing. This is from the first game. Once again, I'm kind of pleased to see that there's only 30 comments on here, and there's a significant group of people like, is this necessary? Like, did you have to make a YouTube video about how to do this? Putting the adult and nude mod in here. And then, like in the comment section, people just blatantly talking about, hey, question, can you make the female characters nude? Sable, Cat, MJ? Like, brother, why? Brother, this is one of the most down bad comments. And then these two losers afterwards? Yes. Well, how then? Like, how, man, what a painful existence. But, get it how you're an adult. My problem is, do we know that this person is an adult? And and therein lies the slippery slope, right? Why are you trying to sexualize cartoon characters? And it's not like they don't try already. They do a pretty good job of it. But there's levels of degeneracy that we just shouldn't be willing to accept. This came out prior to. This is what they were envisioning being able to do. Using a mod, they literally race swapped this person. And it's the same group of people who will talk about, oh, we don't want your race swapping Miles Morales with Peter Parker. Yeah. So what is this about? And keep in mind, she's a kid. And this is what they're thinking about. I think that they used Selena Gomez for this. Not Selena Gomez. The homegirl from That So 70 Show. And then obviously their bigotry on full display. They can't handle the fact of seeing just other demographics being represented. They can't handle it. But I thought it would stop at just like sexualizing the women. But in reality, in the truth of it, they really want to have sex with Spider-Man. That's what they really want to do. They really want to bang Patricia Parker. Like, this is levels of degeneracy that's just unnatural. It's uncanny. It's weird, right? But like that's that small percentage of the internet who can't control themselves, who are crying, and like I always tell people, they're just a vocal minority. They're only popular on the internet. These losers will never speak out. They don't have the chops to do anything of significance outside of that. And your hope is that they're just adolescent brats who are still growing up. But once again, this level of skill and expertise is probably coming from adults. And the last thing you want is a children's game, right? A children's game being over sexualized, because that is not like, I'm at the point in my career or in my life where like I don't ever recall fan service being a form of fan service for me. The real form of fan service is quality games that work on day one, and maybe some high action scenes that are a memorable story with something that actually leaves me remembering the game in good values. Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 5 didn't leave a lasting memory in my mind. It wasn't the best Spider-Man game I played. It definitely isn't the best second Spider-Man game I played. I found Miles Morales to be way more interesting than the second one, but that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to talk about the woes that are going on with the game, but more importantly, the degeneracy that's going on with the game. Don't listen to these losers. They don't really play games. They're just here to extract weirdo fantasies and try and control women in virtual world, because they don't have a shot in hell of controlling a damn person in this real world. You feel me? Like, share, subscribe. Let me know. How'd you like the game? You think the mods are any good? We're getting they're all trash. I'll see you guys.